बरकत में बनाया मेरा Assalamu alaikum dear students, hello, how are you? I hope that you all are fine. Today I have been told by Rais sir that I will deliberate on the changing context of teacher education in Indian scenario. Dear student, you might be knowing that the impact of national policies, that India has made considerable progress in school education since independence with reference to overall literacy, infrastructure, universal access and enrollment in schools. Due to this impact of policies, two major developments in the recent years from the background to the present reform in teacher education, two things had happened. That is, the political recognition of universalization of elementary education that led to the Right to Education Bill 2008. यानी कि दो बातें हो गई. पॉलिसीज़ का इम्पैक्ट क्या पड़ गया, जो फ्री आर्टिकल 45 ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन गारंटी फ्री एंड कंपल्सरी एजुकेशन टू ऑल चिल्ड्रन until they complete the age of 14 years. So what happened due to this right to education? Two major things. That is, number one, right to education. That bill has been passed in 2008. And second is National Curriculum Framework for School Education 2005. इसकी वजह से क्या हो गया, एक स्कूल एजुकेशन में बहुत बड़ा इनकलाब आ गया, डेवलपमेंट हो गई. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू गवर्नमेंट एस्टिमेट्स 2004 to 2005 HRD रिपोर्ट्स बताते हैं, क्या बताते हैं, जो NCERT में हुआ था वो बता रहे हैं कि 82% यानी कि 20 करोड़ चिल्ड्रंस फ्रॉम द एज ग्रुप 5 to 14 दे वर एनरोल्ड इन द स्कूल. ये फिगर्स बताते हैं. एंड इट इज़ equally true that 50% of the children of the same age group, they are dropping out. Means they drop out before completing 8th class. तो ये भी सच है. तो इस सिचुएशन की वजह से क्या हो गया, टीचर्स के लिए एक चैलेंज सामने आ गया. बट द सिचुएशन ऑन द ग्राउंड इज स्टिल रिडन विद डिफिकल्टीज, रीजनल, social, economic, gender disparities. They are posing new challenges for the teacher. This reality increases the challenges that the prospective teachers, that the potential teachers, they will face in implementing the Right to Education Act. अब जब enrollment, infrastructure, ठीक है ना, लिटरेसी, एक्सेस, सब में चेंजेस आ गई, तो टीचर के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज सामने आ गया. सो ड्यू टू दिस नाउ व्हाट आर द चेंजिंग रोल ऑफ द टीचर. टीचर पहले था क्या और अब टीचर क्या बन गया. द करंट सिस्टम ऑफ स्कूलिंग पोजेस ट्रमेंडस बर्डन ऑन चिल्ड्रन. जो आजकल के स्कूलिंग हो रही है उससे बच्चे पे बहुत ज़्यादा बर्डन पड़ गया. और दूसरी बात क्या है, जो NCF 2005 that requires a teacher to be a facilitator. He is no more a knowledge giver. He is simply a facilitator of children's learning in a manner that the child is helped to construct his or her knowledge. ठीक है ना, उसको स्पून फीडिंग नहीं बच्चों को देना, बल्कि he is simply a facilitator or mediator for child. Then education, secondly, education, it is not a mechanical activity of information transmission. A teacher is not a fact distributor. He is not simply a knowledge giver. ये बैंकिंग सिस्टम नहीं है कि हम बैंक में गए, हमने वहाँ 30,000 भरे, हमको रिसिप्ट मिली, हमने 30. एक टीचर विद फुल प्रिपरेशन पढ़ाने जाता है, फिर बाद में स्टूडेंट्स को फीडबैक लेता है. ज़रूरी नहीं है जितना टीचर तैयार होके गया था, जितना उसने स्टूडेंट को दिया, उतना ही स्टूडेंट वापस उसको फीडबैक दे सकता है. So that's why we say that education is not mechanical activity, right? It is not banking system of knowledge, no space for reflection. ज़रूरी नहीं है जितना टीचर ने बोला स्टूडेंट उतना रिफ्लेक्ट कर सकता है. सो ये किसने कहा था? पॉल फ्रायर ने. Secondly, teachers have to increasingly play the role of crucial mediating agent. He has to play the role of mediating agent through whom curriculum is transacted. Now see, you might have seen that our teachers, they are conducting a lot of research. Why? Why a teacher conducts research? In order to create knowledge, in order to solve problems,
update knowledge,
है ना, in order to update his knowledge. A number of seminars, workshops are held in the institution to bring excellency in the institution. ठीक है ना? प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है? इसके लिए हम कैसे इसको सॉल्व करेंगे? इसके लिए हमें किस नॉलेज की ज़रूरत? दैट्स वाई ए नंबर ऑफ रिसर्च, जो आजकल के टीचर्स हैं रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, इनोवेशन ला रहे हैं, ताकि वो अपने इस करिकुलम ट्रांजेक्ट में ये रिफ्लेक्ट करें कि प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है, नॉलेज कैसे क्रिएट करें और इस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कैसे करें. Institutional capacity and capability to innovate and create are a prerequisite for the pursuit of excellence. Hence, in the present scenario, a lot of impetus has been given to research. Many teacher educators are encouraged to take up either major or minor projects. Right? Now, here today, we will also discuss inclusive education. As you might be knowing that here our constitution is giving right to the disabled, to the marginalized societies, that they are also they are having the same right for free and compulsory education. So there are two kinds of exclusion prevalent in schools. We are talking a lot about inclusion, that we have to include all the children in mainstreaming, irrespective of caste, color, gender, etc. But fact is that they are excluded. We are excluding them. They are excluded. There are two kinds of exclusion prevalent in school. That is, one is the exclusion of the child with disabilities, and the second is social exclusion of the child who come from socially and economically deprived backgrounds. हम कह रहे हैं, हम सबको इंक्लूड कर रहे हैं, राइट टू एजुकेशन हर किसी का हक है, लेकिन ग्रास रूट लेवल पे हम देख रहे हैं बट दे आर एक्सक्लूडेड. किसी को प्रॉब्लम है, वो नहीं आ रहा है या आने नहीं दे रहे हैं, उसके साथ सौतेली माँ का व्यवहार किया जाता है, या कोई सोशली या इकोनॉमिकली बैकग्राउंड ग्रुप से ताल्लुक़ रखता है, so that way they are excluded. But we have to include them. Second is, there is a dire need to equip teachers to overcome their biases in these regards and positively handle these challenges. Okay, we are including them in the mainstreaming, but the problem is we are including. But do we know that at the same time a teacher should be equipped so that he can understand how to handle such type of children in their classrooms? So the Person with Disabilities Act of 2005 provides for free and compulsory education up to the age of 18 years for all children with disabilities, and teacher will have to be specially equipped if the social deprivation has to be overcome through education. Now see, a trend has been changed. Newly visualized teacher education programs says us see the shift from traditional method to activity method. Earlier, teacher-centric approach was there, यानी कि टीचर ही डिसीजन लेता था करना क्या है. It was static. Now from shift traditional to learner center, यानी कि teacher centric to learner center. There in learner center, the students, they have flexibility. It is activity based. He can decide himself in which subject he is interested. So learning is given him according to his taste, according to his need, level, aspiration. That's why we say that shift has been from traditional teacher centric to learning centric. Second is teacher direction and decision. Earlier, teacher was the sole judge to decide, to give the directions. He was the sole judge for everything. But now, learners' autonomy. Learners in learner centric, it was the learner who was having full authority to decide what he likes. Then next point is teacher guidance and monitoring. In teacher guidance and monitoring, teacher was the sole judge to give guidance to the student, to monitor him at every step. But now the trend has been changed. Teacher is simply a facilitator, a support, and encourages learning. Earlier, teacher student was passive learner. Passive reception in learning means autocratic. There was a culture of silence. He should remain silent throughout in his class. Means there was a vertical teaching. टीचर की जगह जो थी टॉप पे और स्टूडेंट की बॉटम पे. बट नाउ द ट्रेंड हैज़ बीन चेंज. देयर इज़ अ बिग शिफ्ट. दैट इज active participation in learning, means democratic, horizontal teaching we can say, means teacher and students, they are at par. Teacher and student, they both can decide, right? Then learning within four walls of the classroom. Earlier, teaching was given within the four walls of classroom. A teacher was deliberating whatever he has to deliberate. He has to deliberate within the four walls of his classroom. That was the final. Nobody can put any question to him. But now, learning in the wider social context of the classroom means there is a naturalistic approach seen. What does that mean? Learning is not only possible in the four walls of classroom, he can learn in a naturalistic way. That means outside the classroom, learning is also possible. Then next is knowledge as a given and fiction. Knowledge was only given by a teacher and it was based on rigid curriculum. It was bookish, mechanical. But now the trend has been changed. Knowledge as it involves and is created. So now we are following the constructivist approach. A teacher is only a facilitator. He has to support, he has to help his learning to construct his knowledge. Then disciplinary focus. Earlier, the teacher was having knowledge about one subject and he revolves only within that subject. But now the approach is different. Teacher has to study, this professional teacher, he has to study philosophy, sociology and psychology. The psychology helps him to know the psyche of the student, to know the need, level, aspiration of his student. Then and then only he can motivate him for his learning. At the same time, he studies sociology. In sociology, the teacher learns what are the demands of the society and how this child will be fitted in the society. He at the same time learns philosophy. Then he learns whenever he has to transact his curriculum, he knows that whether his curriculum should be based on the pragmatic school of philosophy and naturalistic, or it should be based on idealism. So these were the points for changing role of a teacher. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for giving a lecture in our YouTube channel, Dr. Rais Ahmad Discover Teaching and Learning. तो मैं कितना भी आपका शुक्रगुजार हूँ वो बहुत कम है। अल्लाह ताला ने आपको ऑलरेडी इज़्ज़त दिया है, तो आपने हमारी चैनल में आज टीचर एजुकेशन जो भी बच्चे हैं चाहे बीएड एमएड में है उनके लिए एक अच्छा लेक्चर दिया है टीचर रिलेटेड। तो माशाल्लाह इन फ्यूचर में भी हम मैम आपका हम वेट करेंगे, आप हमारी चैनल में इन बच्चों के लिए बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स लाओगे, लेक्चर्स लाओगे जिनको इनसे फ़ायदा होगा। तो माशाल्लाह आपको बहुत सारी एक्सपीरियंस है और प्रोफेसर रैंक पर है मैम आप, और आपने डॉक्टर्स भी किया है। तो अगर आप हमारे चैनल में कभी कभी लेक्चर्स दोगे तो बच्चों को फ़ायदा होगा। तो इंशाल्लाह हम आपको बुलाएंगे तो आप दोगे किसी भी लेक्चर टॉपिक पे। तो आज का जो आपने एक फ्रूटफुल एक ज़बरदस्त आप इंफॉर्मेशन आपने शेयर की हमारी स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, हमारे व्यूवर्स के लिए, सब्सक्राइबर के लिए। तो डियर स्टूडेंट्स, इसी तरह से हम फ्यूचर में भी आपको अच्छे से इंफॉर्मेटिव लेक्चर्स लाएंगे। हमारी चैनल जो है डॉक्टर रईस अहमद डिस्कवर टीचिंग एंड लर्निंग, आप इसको ज़्यादा शेयर कीजिए, और ये जो आज का लेक्चर है इसको आप अपने स्टूडेंट्स तक भी पहुंचाइए, शेयर कीजिए हमारे चैनल को और सब्सक्राइब कीजिए। तो इंशाल्लाह आपको हम थैंक यू और एक बार करते हैं डॉक्टर नुज़हत नासरीन जो बहुत एक्सपीरियंसड है, बहुत साल इसने टीचिंग में दिए हैं। तो माशाल्लाह अभी भी ये वो काम कर रही है, तो फ्यूचर में भी हम इसको आपके लिए लाएंगे। तो आज के लिए इतना ही काफ़ी है। थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू मैम।
कैसा रहा?
ये ज़बरदस्त है मैडम, अभी आएगा ना उसमें तो